Our camera is now positioned. Unfortunately, it positioned underneath the vehicle, which is an interesting perspective, but not exactly what we are looking for. We actually want to create the same effect that we have in our camera here in our preview. We are following behind the player instead of underneath the vehicle, so we will change that perspective using code. What we are gonna do is we are actually setting our camera position to our player position. This is actually we are going to add our player position so that we can upset our camera above and behind our player. Fortunately, we already did some of this work before. Luckily, the player vehicle is at 0 on the X. Look at the inspector. In transform component, we have 0 on X, 0 on Y, and 0 position on Z axis. And then what we did with our camera, go to camera in hierarchy and look at the transform component. We have 0 position on the x-axis, 5 on the y-axis, and -7 on the z-axis. It went behind our player here, so we can actually use those values to be able to reposition our camera behind the player when the game starts. We will use 5 on y and -7 on z-axis. So go back to the IDE. So using our update method, since we are constantly keeping track of the player position, we want to add, in this case, we just use a plus sign just like you would on calculator. And then we should add, I believe it was 0 on x-axis and 5 on y-axis and -7 on z-axis. So here we will write 0, 5, -7. Here we will put comma. So that does not seem to work because it is red and showing the error here. You can see. So I believe the problem is, in fact, our player position is giving us a vector 3. And here, although this would make sense in our heads, this does not make sense to our computer at all. Our program is trying to add some statement that does not exist, and it is trying to add it to our vector 3. So what we actually need to do is we need to add two vectors 3 together. So actually I need to create a new here, a new keyword, because we are actually creating a new vector 3 instance. We are not creating a vector 3 variable. We are storing or saving. Since this is temporary, we use new vector 3. This will create a new vector 3 just for this line of code that will have the value of 0 on the x, 5 on the y, and -7 on z axis. Last but not least, we will add a comment to our this line of code. We are going to say offset the camera behind the player. Offset. Now make sure we save. For window, just Control S, and for Mac we will use Command S. So now if we go back to our Unity and we will check that what happened now. So back go to the Unity editor. Now check the Palu player script. Here you can see our new code. New vector 305 -7. So now we will press the play button. Fantastic! Now we have a much better view of at we are driving and where we are going. If you have any question, ask in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in next video.